Boom. We're live. GM, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Avatar. I'm your host, Crafter, and with me today, I have a super special guest. I met 500, Thomas. Oops, I don't know if I should have asked you before I said that, but I feel like you maybe have tweeted about it. But 500 is a homie from back in the day, like. And when I say back in the day, like back in a couple years ago, whenever NFTs first kind of started coming on the scene, I met 500. And I've been dying to have you on the show to just kind of chat about what you've been up to, and just catch up because I feel like it's been a while. So without further ado, how about you give everybody a little intro overview of who you are, to start it off, and then we will just dive into chatting.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so it's cool to actually do it. But
Heck
yeah,
yeah.
I'm 500. My real name's Thomas or Tommy, but my artist name is 500, and I'm an artist, mostly existing in the Web3 world right now. Digital art scene. I do physical stuff here and there, but right now my focus is kind of digital art. But yeah, I'm a collector as well. I have a small collection that I'm proud of, but yeah, I'm an artist. I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm from Ohio, 29 years old. Um, I'm also an actor, but right now the art's going a little bit better than the acting is. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. And yeah, it's crazy. We met like 2 years ago,
I,
a year
I feel
and some
like,
change.
yeah, because I was thinking about it today, and I was trying to remember how we even met, and I think it was in Wicked Craniums, but I'm not 100% sure. Does that sound familiar? Do you remember how we originally like got linked up? I don't even know. It just like that was one thing that popped in my head as I was like, oh, maybe it was in Wicked Craniums. Like I cannot remember.
Yeah, it's a blur, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the beginning, like the first year or so of NFTs is a blur. You forget how you met people, and
yeah. It,
I think it was Wicked Craniums, though.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that's
it
that's what
was
we can
Wicked
go
Craniums.
with at least. I know it was around that time, and I know we were both in the Wicked Craniums Discord, and I feel like you were definitely in there more than I was. But every once in a while I'd pop in, and somehow I don't know how, but somehow we linked up. But yeah, and I definitely I think I vibed with you first as a person, um, or an avatar. I guess
Yeah,
I didn't. No one really knew who anyone was really at that time. But I know that I vibed with you, and then I think I realized that you were doing art, and then your art, like it's been so fun to just kind of watch your journey, because I feel like I might have missed like some of the first things you did, at least as far as your Web3 journey goes. Um, but for sure most of it I've been paying attention to, and it's just been cool to just see everything that you do, and obviously the ups and downs, like everyone has that along their journey, and but it's been cool to see you persevere through some of the tougher times, and still be here and still be putting out awesome stuff. We definitely need to, and I'll pull it up on the screen later for everyone that's tuning in. um, what up, chat? By the way, I see you, Huddle, and Vox Machina, Machina. I always say Machina. What's up? But yeah, so God damn it. Whenever I look at the chat, I always lose track. It's like I try to avoid it for as long as I can, but then I just see it out of the corner of my eye and I gotta look. Um, the last thing I remember that I was saying was your perseverance, through the ups and downs, and it's just been cool to see. Oh, and then I know where I was, and then I got to Nostalgia Boulevard, which is something that we're definitely going to dive into a little bit, and I'll show that on the screen. That's what I was saying. Uh,
cool.
um, so so yeah. I mean, we'll do all kinds of stuff tonight, I feel
For
like,
sure.
but yeah. So I don't even know where to start because I feel like it's been a while since we've chatted. But in the early days, we definitely were staying in pretty close communication, and as things go in and out, and people need.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just that's just how the space rolls. But it's all I feel like we've always just stayed connected at least a little bit. So it's cool to finally
for sure.
have you on the show, and get some new eyes on you because I think your art's super dope. And
Thanks,
I
man.
know other people will too. But yeah, I guess to start with, you said that you've been doing art for a while, and or and you've done physical, and now you've been mainly doing the digital stuff. Um, you what was the what's your art journey kind of been like? Like, did you start at a young age? Did you, um, yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I'm asking.
yeah. I started at a young age. I took art lessons as a kid. Like in the traditional world when I was really young. Um, but it kind of started, just in school. Like I really enjoyed art class,
Mm,
and I was always doodling on my notes in class, and I'd come back and like do my homework, study with one of my parents, and my notes would just be filled with like little doodles and stuff. And
yeah,
so, um, and then yeah, in art class and stuff, I really enjoyed it, and I found that I actually enjoyed the class more than like math or social studies, things like that. And then so my parents put me through some lessons, and that was cool. I just went home actually to visit family, and I found a bunch of old drawings that I did. I think during those lessons, I'll have to send them to you, or maybe I'll post them
yeah.
sometime. But
You
um,
should post them.
yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. But yeah, so at a young age, I took art lessons, and then all the way up until probably like late middle school. And then in high school, I stopped making art. I would still like doodle and stuff, but I didn't make it, something that was super important to me because
Yeah.
I don't know, when you're in high school and you're a young guy in high school, you just kind of want to do what's cool and stuff, and like you're told that art isn't cool. And so I focused on like sports and partying and things like that. And then even through college, I wasn't really focused on art. But then after I graduated and I was like, more matured, and I realized, art actually is super cool. And if it's something that I love doing, then why wouldn't I be doing it? And so I got back into it. I would just like paint, like drink wine and paint with friends here and there. Um, and then honestly, through COVID, I started to invest in crypto.
Mm,
And then it's just like a snowball effect. You get interested in crypto, and then you find out what NFTs are, and then you buy your first NFT, and then it's just like this snowball effect. And then through my NFT journey, I got motivated to start making art again, and so I got an iPad and started making art like every day again. And yeah, now I'm here. So I've been, yeah,
hell
making
yeah.
art like super, like making art every day for the past probably 2 years.
That's legit. It's cool that you got back into something that you obviously I think loved and just kind of like got away from for a little bit. Because you can definitely tell just from especially like watching the like journey and all the different things that you've released. Like you can definitely tell that you love what you do, and you use it as like a I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it feels like you use it as like a way to kind of like express like some of the things that are going on maybe inside your head
For sure,
and
yeah.
how things are feeling. And that's what I think is super cool about I feel like we just got a segue right over there because it's what's on my mind right now. What's super cool about Nostalgia Boulevard that you just started doing? I'm gonna pull up
Yeah,
some tweets or something. Yeah, that's probably where I'll find it. Or actually, I'll go to your foundation, and
that's
I'll
cool.
pull it up on screen to show everyone. But if you want to kind of give us a little rundown of what bowl what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Nostalgia Boulevard is a new collection that I created recently, and the purpose is to, um, help people feel nostalgic about certain things from, their childhood. They don't. It doesn't have to be from their childhood. I posted like a lengthy sort of description to the collection, and in it I say, obviously I'm a '90s kid. You can probably tell that with like the pieces in the collection, but I don't think that the collection is strictly for '90s kids. Like I showed my dad the pieces, and he loved them. He feels super nostalgic when he looks at them too.
For sure,
Um,
because not to cut you off, but that's what I mean. They grew through that too. It's not like
for
obviously it was
sure.
our childhood, but they experienced it too. So yeah, and then they experienced with you,
Exactly.
which
Yeah.
I think is probably a really nostalgic thing for your parents to look back on too. So that's cool that it hits different.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was the goal. They're pretty simple pieces. Honestly, a lot of my other stuff is a little bit more intricate, and like there's a lot more going on. With this, I just wanted to use like a few subjects. Like in each piece there's like 4 or 5 items, and I just wanted it to be super simple, and I want people when they see it to know obviously right away what it is, and then so they can access those memories.
Hmm.
But they're sort of like childlike drawings, and the reason that is because obviously when you see a Nintendo 64, that feels nostalgic, but when it's drawn, almost childlike, that also makes you feel nostalgic too, at least for me, because obviously I was a kid um, when I was experiencing those things and playing with the Nintendo 64. So, yeah, it's the first wave sold out, which is amazing. Like I was
Yeah,
super happy with how that went. It's always super vulnerable to put yourself out there and drop art. You never know if it's going to sell quick or if it's going to sit there for a few months or a year even. Um, but yeah, so I'm going to release them in waves. The waves of 5 pieces. So the first wave had 5 one-of-ones. It's sold out. So on Friday, actually, I'll be dropping wave 2, and it's 5 new 1-of-ones.
hell yeah. I am. I don't know why I'm struggling so bad to find your foundation. Like there it is. God damn. Um, and for people that are tuning in, I am hanging out in the Club Z social hub in the drafts gallery for the sandbox. If you guys want to come vibe, I am in there. 500 is not. I haven't brought him over to the dark side yet, but I will. I'm working on it. So we don't have him set up and hanging out with us in there, but go on over and hang out with me if you want. But I have up on the screen. It looks like the 360 one. I don't know why that one pulled up, but that's the one that pulled up.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the one, but just to kind of touch on everything that you just said while I was trying to hunt down your foundation link, which was probably like in your profile and I just missed it. But um, instead I was like scrolling through tweets trying to find one.
Yeah.
But
So it's hard to multitask
yeah,
sometimes. You got a
yeah.
lot on your mind.
I need a producer, man, or whatever
You
that.
need a Jamie.
Yeah,
You
I
need a
definitely
Jamie.
I need a Jamie. I really do. I would love to have a Jamie. Jamie, pull that up. Um, but instead, I gotta do all the hunting. Um,
For now. For now.
yeah, it's
One
all
day you'll
good.
have a
It's
Jamie.
baby steps, one thing at a time. Um,
Exactly.
but first thing I wanted to say is congrats on selling out this first wave. That was awesome to see.
Thank you, man.
I
Yeah.
know, like you were saying, it is vulnerable to put yourself out there like that, and you never know, especially as an artist that hasn't like accumulated as much awareness around you, that you never know if it's going to catch on, if people and I feel like I kind of understand. I'm not like 100% an artist, but I'm an artist in my own way. And like
Mm.
putting your things out there, like you never know if somebody's gonna like it. Like you think it's super cool, but like what?
Yeah.
And you always like you have the ego in your head that's always telling you bullshit. That you start to believe, and then you start second
Yeah.
guessing
Yeah.
yourself and everything. Um, but it congrats is what I was long way
Thank
of
you,
saying
man.
is
Yeah.
that's super awesome
Appreciate it.
that worked out, and super cool too I still don't really understand who that dude is, but or girl or whoever it is, but the Vincent, was it Vincent Van Doe? Is that
Vincent Van Doe, yeah.
he's like
He
a
bought, I think, yeah, I think it's a he, but they bought three pieces in the
yeah.
collection, which is crazy because they're a huge collector in the space.
I was gonna say
And
they collect that's like the only reason I know their name is that they collect a lot of art, and
yeah,
that's about all I know.
he, yeah, that was a huge moment. I mean, that's insane to me. My dad was taking me to the airport because I was leaving Ohio to come back to Los Angeles,
Yeah,
and I got a notification that like I got a couple bids on my pieces, and so I
hell
looked
yeah,
and I saw that it was them, Vincent Van Doe. I was like in the car, I was like, "Holy shit!" My dad was like, "What?" But um, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, honestly. Super amazing moment. Thank you to Vincent Van Doe for supporting me if you ever watch this. But
yeah. I mean
yeah, and if you
that's
don't follow, everyone who watches this should follow him or them because their collection is incredible. Also, I think they're responsible or they're behind art of this millennium in some way. I think maybe a founder, a co-founder, but I don't know if you know what that is.
no, I'm not familiar. What is that?
It's here. I'll just
I guess I could pull it up on screen to follow along. Art of Millennium.
Art of this millennium. It's on Twitter. It's AOTM Gallery. But yeah, maybe on your own time if you want to check it out. But it's
Yeah.
super cool. They curate art from like heavy hitters in the space, like X Copy, I think,
Oh,
and
I'm following them. That's so funny. It's like
but yeah, Vincent Van Doe's amazing that he bought three pieces. It's amazing when anyone buys a piece. Like I'm as thankful for you know him as I am the first person that bought
yeah, yeah,
bought my piece.
for
But
sure.
it's definitely crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's cool that like it obviously caught his eye for some reason and he vibed with multiple pieces. Like I don't know, it's hard to like understand the thought process behind somebody that collects as much art as someone like that,
Yeah,
but it's super cool to know that like it caught the eyes of even somebody like that, as well as like I mean it's I don't know who any I wouldn't have really even known that name, but like Blue Flame and Carignano Campagnolo.
yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
to the other two that ended up picking up a couple of your pieces. So I have it pulled up on screen and it's showing all five of them. So and there, you said that you're doing waves. How many waves are you going to be doing?
So right now, I don't have an answer. I knew right away that I wanted to do at least two. I was just going to kind of gauge how the waves were received, and obviously the first one was received really well. So I'm jumping into wave two, and I'll see how that goes. And then, I mean, it would be cool if it was just sort of a continuous thing,
Sure.
and it just sort of grew over time because there's a lot of things that make us feel nostalgic. So why not, keep the collection going? But for now, I'm just focused on wave two, and then we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, yeah, I feel like you shouldn't limit yourself to any set number of waves
Exactly. Yeah.
or pieces or whatever because it does seem like something that would be great as um just like a continuum like some because I
Hmm.
mean as you grow up you're gonna have new nostalgic things to add to it and it's
True.
just
Yeah.
it'll kind of evolve maybe if I don't know or maybe you'll kind of cap it at nostalgia from your childhood obviously up to you but
Yeah.
it could like continue to even grow like that because like I mean you're always going to have something to look back on that makes you nostalgic. I mean NFTs are going to make us nostalgic at some point in our lives. We're going to be like, oh,
True.
remember remember when we were a bunch of dorks trading little pictures online and trying to get rich.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be fun to either way, however you end up doing it, it'll be fun to just kind of see all of the different pieces that you come up with. Because, like you said, I mean, even if it is just from your childhood, there's tons. Like I've been sending at you. You asked me some about things that made
Oh
me
yeah.
nostalgic, and I've been sending you. I sent you like a list, and and then after I sent that list, I just like keep thinking of different things, or like different things will pop in my head that now I'm kind of aware of the nostalgia emotion. And
Hmm.
so now, like whenever I think of it, then I'm like, oh, that makes me feel nostalgic. I like that. And then so like
Oh yeah.
it's kind of cool that like this series that I call it a series. Is that what you're calling it? A series? Um,
It could be, yeah.
I,
Like, yeah.
that's just what my name for it is. But this series that you're doing is great for that. It's just like reminding us of, I don't know, that there's the little things are the big things that you end up remembering. Um, so like taking now I'm going down like a deeper road, but like taking it's kind of like because it's just it's cool that this collection, this series is
Yeah, appreciate
making bringing those like thoughts up for people. I'm sure,
for sure, yeah.
because it does, it brings up all kinds of just memories and all kinds of great things. I feel like whenever you say nostalgia, does is nostalgia ever bad, or is nostalgia only good memories?
That's a good point. I guess it kind of yeah.
It
It's
feels like it's
usually
always good, right?
it usually feels, I think we associate the term, the word nostalgia with good memories.
Otherwise, it would be like
Um,
regret or something.
yeah, it
Would
would be something that you're not, you know, wanting to think about,
yeah,
not something that
and
you want to
we're not
remember.
going down regret boulevard. We're going down nostalgia
Yeah,
boulevard. Um,
exactly,
I,
exactly.
I
But
like
yeah,
it.
dude, thanks for saying that. That's super dope because I mean, that is the point of the collection, and it was really cool to. I talked to Carignano. I think that's how you pronounce it, but he owns the Golden Arches piece, the McDonald's piece, and we shared like a nice moment where he listed off the reasons why that piece was nostalgic to him,
Hell yeah.
and uh, and that was really cool to like talk to a collector and understand why they vibed with the piece and why they wanted to own it.
Yeah. That's I think that's cool that I see you do, is that you try and get in contact with the people that are picking up your pieces, and just starting starting that open line of communication where they know
For
that
sure, yeah.
you appreciate them supporting and picking up one of your things, but also that like you seem open to it being more than just oh, I like that piece of art, I'm gonna buy it, but I don't really care about the artist kind of thing. Like it's definitely, it feels like it's opening the door to growing more of a community around everything that you're doing, which is cool.
Definitely, yeah. I love to. I usually, if I'm not, if I see whoever bid on a piece or whoever collected a piece, if I'm not following them, I find their Twitter, follow them, and DM them right away. Yeah, it's important to me to like form that connection early, relationship, and every once in a while, I'll try to like reach out to my collectors and just say, hey. Obviously, it's hard to like keep up with everyone, and life gets busy. But it's really nice to talk to collectors and get to know them.
Yeah, the I know you started a Discord at one point. Is that something you're still kind of
Yeah,
doing, or is that not really? I mean, that I don't. Discord's tough. I don't.
it's bro. Discord gives me like anxiety, dude.
Yeah,
I try to keep up with it, but I don't know, man. It's just I don't know if Discord's really my lane. I think it's important for like for projects to have Discords, obviously, so they
for
can
sure.
have the community that's always active there. But for me, I find that there's just better communication between my collectors and I on Twitter. Like I'll just DM them um, and talk to them there.
Yeah, and I feel like I like that for you and probably most artists, to be honest. But like I feel like for everyone, in general, you'll know, you should, I mean, you should know if a Discord or something of that level would be needed, and then you can always add that on. Like if, and most likely it'll be because people are asking for something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But until
Yeah,
the until then, everyone's happy engaging and interacting with you on social media, on Twitter
definitely.
or wherever they are with you. So yeah, I think it's definitely not something that's
Yeah, I think
necessary.
it's just whatever works. I think is whatever works best is what you should probably do. I've reached out to a couple collectors and asked them, if they want to join the Discord. A few of them, were like, "I'll join it," but to be honest with you, like I do not really use Discord anymore. I don't really like it that much, and so I would be more keen to like doing a Twitter group or something. So I think someday I'll probably reach out to all my collectors and ask them if they'd be interested in that. Uh, Sorry, there was a car. It sounded like blew up,
Oh,
but
jeez.
it didn't blow up. It was just an engine. One of those guys. Um, but yeah, do you have a favorite Pokemon?
Dude, I was just gonna talk to you about Pokemon. I have your Pokemon piece pulled up on the screen, and um, I was kind of gonna ask you your to get some of your memories, but yes,
Yeah,
my favorite Pokemon was always, so the it's always like a couple, but so like my favorite starting Pokemon was always Squirtle. For some reason, I love Squirtle. But I like Charizard
nice.
better as like the final evolution. So like a lot of times I would go with Charmander, even though I like Squirtle better. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
and this is obviously the originals. That was my era. I didn't really do anything, and I've played like a little bit of a couple different generations after the original generation, but really all I know is the first, whatever, I don't know how many there are. I wasn't like a like a diehard,
Yeah,
but
I
the
lost
first like
track.
150 or whatever, all the way up to like Mewtwo. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but my other one of my other favorites was Haunter. I don't know, something about Haunter always got me, and Abra. I like these like dumb
Ooh,
Pokemon that
yeah.
like I think I just liked the like the graphics of them.
How
And
they look, yeah.
yeah, I think I
Yeah,
vibed. Go
that was
go.
definitely a big thing when you're young. You kind of are just drawn to how the characters look. I think, and
Yeah, and of course
I think
Pikachu.
that's why.
Like everyone
Yeah,
loved
Pikachu's
Pikachu.
awesome. I think that's why so many people loved Charizard. I mean, he just looks so cool.
Yeah,
But
especially
I,
that.
I liked, I liked. I'm gonna have a brain fart. I can't believe I'm forgetting. It's just he's a big, fat Pokemon and he sleeps.
Snorlax.
A Snorlax. Yeah,
Yes,
I loved
Snorlax.
Snorlax.
I love
I
Snorlax
loved
too.
Snorlax.
He's
Yeah,
legit.
I don't know, but you said that you liked like a random Pokemon, and it made me remember that for some reason I just loved. I remember I was trading cards with a neighbor one day, and I was so fixated on his Snorlax. I was like, "That's the one I want." And he was even like, "Man, you really want this Snorlax? Like that is a weird. That's a really weird Pokemon to like to really want." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. I just I need that Snorlax."
I feel like I had lots of different situations like that, because that was like the only way that I used the cards. I don't think I ever once played like the game. I was only
Mm-hmm.
ever just looking at other people's and like trading with them and just trying to get the coolest looking ones in my opinion. And it, it was just so fun. It was just such like a fun thing to like
Oh yeah, it was
be
awesome.
a part of, because like that, I'm sure it's still like they obviously like I know they're still like putting out cards and stuff, because one of my nephews got a couple Pokemon card packs the other day, and I was like, what the hell? They're
Nice.
still making those? And I
Dude,
was like,
they are
they look
still
way
making them.
different. They're like very modern cards now.
Yeah. Yeah, they do well too. I mean, Pokemon cards are still
And they're
like
like,
a sought after collectible.
yeah, like that's what I've come to realize is it's not just the old ones. Like it's all like like people are still seeking out like the new rare ones. So like people are
For sure.
like collectors are still like buying the new packs and opening them and hoping to get rare ones or whatever and getting them graded and everything. Like
Yeah.
I went down this whole rabbit hole with my buddy the other day. He's been into trading Pokemon cards for a while now. I guess he was doing it in his closet for
Nice.
a while, but but I finally found out about it. I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, I love Pokemon. I wish I still had my Pokemon cards and could trade them.
Oh,
Um,
dude, me too.
did
I
you?
probably had.
Yeah, did you not end up not having holding on to any of them?
I think I have one stack, but I think they're kind of just random miscellaneous cards. I don't think any of them are worth anything. I think either I made the decision to sell them, or like my parents encouraged me to be like, once you got to a certain age, like
Yeah, that
you
sounds
can make some money back.
that sounds familiar. I feel like it probably happened to a lot of kids, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah,
or you could have the parent that got for my case, my dad got pissed at me for I don't even remember what, which is the most annoying part, and he doesn't remember even doing this, but I know he did. I, I think he's just blocking it out because he's sad or he's embarrassed that he did it. But I had a huge collection. Have you ever seen those those boxes of for cards? And they're I don't know. They're probably like this is if especially if people are listening to just the audio, but it's like about this big, and I don't know. It probably holds like 500 cards. I don't maybe more than that. Maybe I'm underestimating how much you could fit in it. But anyways, it was a lot, and I had two of those, and he got pissed at me and threw them all away. Like, I was like,
oh
you gotta be
no.
fucking kidding me! Like, that's how you're
Oh
gonna punish me?
man.
Yeah.
That
So,
sucks.
and I was dumb, not dumb. I was well behaved and didn't go dig in the garbage to go like get them back and stash them somewhere. I was like, God damn, I definitely should have did that. It's not tried to at least tried.
Just yeah,
But yeah,
digging
so
through the
just
trash.
a bunch of good cards just in the trash. That
Damn, that sucks, man. I
yeah.
feel like a lot of people have stories like that, where like you don't really know how your Pokemon cards got lost, but they did. Like I don't remember if I sold them, if my parents sold them, if I just gave them all away, or maybe my dad threw mine in the trash too. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
I wish I still had them. I wish I still had them.
Me too, because they're one of that thing that like obviously like we're talking talking about it and we got to it from the nostalgia Boulevard series, but um like it brings up so much nostalgia that I don't think I would have ever got rid of them. I think I would have held on to them and just held on to them and held on to them and until until I heard that until they got really hot there, like right around I think that was like right around NFT, the beginning of NFT time too, where they started to really heat up and people were buying them for crazy amounts. Like I feel like I probably would have had them then and been like, okay, now is the time to sell these.
Time to yeah,
But
time to cash in.
but uh but I didn't. So so that doesn't matter. But I did have like I had for sure I had a holographic Charizard because I remember that was like one of my
Nice.
prized possessions. I don't know. I'm assuming it was one of the like earlier ones because that was like right when I started collecting them was right when they started being released. But yeah, and like so if I would have had that, I mean who knows what kind of condition it actually was in. But like just seeing that because that's the one that I always see the big numbers for like that people have
Yeah,
sold it and I'm just like Jesus. Like
it's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
For a
Did you ever
Pokemon
play?
card. Like
It's crazy.
I
Yeah.
don't get it. But then you look at NFTs and you're like, "Oh, that's what's happening."
Yeah. If there's demand for it, yeah. If there's demand. Did you play Pokemon Go? at all when that came out
A
in like
little bit, yeah. Like
2016?
when it came out, I played it for a little while, but I kind of just like lost interest or something, and just
Yeah.
never really picked it back up. But I know like people still are playing it. Like, do you still play it?
No, I don't.
Oh,
But I, honestly, every now and then I'll like re-download it and just look through the Pokemon that I had just for fun. But I was definitely super obsessed with Pokemon Go when that first came out. There was a park in my hometown. It's called Price Park, and I'll never forget that summer that it was really popular. That park was just packed all the time. And if a rare Pokemon would pop up, like someone would, I mean, it's just hordes of people walking around on their phone.
uh-huh.
Someone would just like yell out, Pikachu over on, the other side of the park or something. And
Yeah.
then everyone would just like run and try to catch it. It was hilarious. And then the cops, dude, the cops. So the park like closed at 10 or something, and this was like the spot for Pokemon Go. This park, it had like Pokestops, or remember those Pokestop
Yep.
things that had like gyms where you could battle and stuff. And I remember it got to the point where the cops would come like an hour after close and shoo people away, but they were nice enough to like give people a grace period. They'd always be like, "The park closed an hour ago. We gave you guys an hour. You got to get out of here."
Stop playing your damn phone games and go home.
Yeah.
that's
Oh man.
that's funny. I never uh, I think like the most I saw people playing it was in malls. I grew up in Minnesota, and I would go to Mall of America, not like all the time, but like I don't know, probably like every couple months. Just to kind of walk around and do. I don't really shop much, but I think probably at that time, like my girlfriend or whoever, I'm trying to even think if I had a girlfriend back then, but why we would go to the mall, nobody knows. But we would go there, and that was a hot spot for Pokemon
I
Go.
bet.
There was tons of people playing, but it would have been cool that I'd never really experienced like outside in like a park or something. But I think that would be cool. It's kind of cool to think about how like that's, I mean, it's technically augmented reality, but like think about where that'll be whenever we're wearing Apple glasses or whatever AR glasses come out that are awesome in the near future. Like that's just one game that for sure you could do with it, but like there's gonna be so many just like crazy games that people can play with AR, not to mention all the other like things that you'll be able to do with AR, and and also all the ads that you're gonna be
Yeah.
bombarded with AR. Like it's gonna be interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It is going to be weird. That's a good point, though. Yeah. I mean, Pokemon Go would be taken to the next level. You'll instead of people on their phones, you'll see people, yeah, wearing glasses and like throwing,
yeah,
doing throwing motions to like throw the Pokeball and stuff.
yeah, definitely, and
Yeah.
that's gonna be wild. Whenever people would race to a Pokemon in the park, was it like I don't remember exactly all like the rules or how it all worked, but was it first one to catch it gets it, or could multiple people catch like that same Pokemon?
Yeah, multiple people could get it. So it would usually pop up on everyone's map. And I think that the reason people ran is because they only like spawn for a certain amount of time and then they disappear.
Ah,
Um,
gotcha.
and so the reason people would sprint is because they didn't want it to disappear before they got there.
That's probably a good thing that it wasn't like first come first like
For sure,
like only
yeah.
one, because that I feel like that would lead to a lot of fights and stuff.
That would have gotten dicey, dude. That would
Yeah,
have gotten dicey.
people would probably. I mean, I don't, hopefully not, but like I could see somebody like doing some dumb stuff to get a Pokemon over somebody else. Uh,
For sure.
that
For sure.
that's wild though. Um, I love that we're just kind of talking about well this one for right now, but I kind of want to, now that we're doing this, go to a different one and figure out what what kind of what this conversation leads to.
For
So
sure, yeah.
so because this is kind of fun. It's like a I don't know what kind of show it is, but
We're
it's my
taking a
show.
little joyride. We're taking a
Yeah,
joyride.
taking a joyride down Nostalgia
Nostalgia
Boulevard.
Boulevard, yeah.
Hell yeah. So the one that I got pulled up right now is the Toys R Us Hot Wheels G or not GI Joe. What were those things called?
Little Green Army
Little
Men.
Green. Yeah, is that what they're called? Little Green Army
Yeah,
Men. Uh,
I think so, yeah.
hell yeah. I used to have so many of those, and my parents would step on them all the time and get pissed at me.
You remember the one with the bazooka?
Yep. Yep.
I like that one. I
I
like
like
that
I
one.
like that one a lot. I also there was you could get parachutes for them, and I
Oh
think I
yeah,
don't
that's
remember
right.
exactly how they worked, but I remember like somehow you like bundled it all up and you could like launch it with like a slingshot or something.
Yes.
Like that's
It was like it worked. It worked okay. It wasn't the greatest
yeah.
thing, but for like however long it was in the air, I don't know, 5 seconds, it was pretty cool. You would like look up at it.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, cool, he's parachuting done."
Yeah, yeah. Now I gotta roll it. Now I gotta roll the chute back up and do it
Yeah,
again.
yeah. What when when you look at this, or I guess more so when you were creating this, like what was the main like reason behind that? Because it feels like it's toys. Like is that kind of like just kind of
Yeah,
remembering the different
just
toys?
toys, and then specifically um, Toys R Us. I mean, that place was just the piece is called Heaven on Earth. It was literally
Ah,
heaven on earth for
yeah,
kids, and yeah, just specifically like Toys R Us. I mean, it's so sad that that's not a thing anymore, and it's just online shopping for kids
yeah.
because, like, dude, Toys R Us was the shit,
So
bro.
fun.
Toys R Us was amazing,
And
amazing.
I I imagine I imagine I mean, who knows for sure? I should ask them, but I imagine my parents didn't want to go there very often because they knew that they were probably going to end up spending money on some stupid toy that I just randomly decided I needed um,
Yeah.
that day. But yeah, I remember always trying to convince my parents to let me go there and just wandering up and down the aisles like yeah, now that you like say that it is kind of sad that
Oh, dude,
other
so
kids aren't
sad.
really experiencing that. I mean, they're all just Amazon kids. like
Yeah.
I don't
You know
know.
what would be, kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not by any means saying that it would even come close to the experience of Toys R Us, but maybe in the metaverse there could be toy stores and kids put on their headsets and walk around. And
Yeah,
I don't know. It's creepy. It's a weird thing in my opinion, but that's probably the
it probably will happen.
yeah.
It sounds like
Amazon will do
something.
that.
I was gonna say probably it probably will be Amazon. It'll probably be Amazon that figures out a way that'll hook kids into to
Hmm.
finding things that they want to convince their parents to buy them. And
So weird.
it
So weird.
but yeah but hopefully it'll be cool for the kids and kind of like going to Toys R Us and hopefully they make it so that it's like multiplayer, like there's bunches of kids running
Oh, that'd be
running
cool.
around
Yeah,
looking at toys and stuff, and like at least like
that'd
hopefully
be
it's
cool.
something like that, so it's at least fun. Like if you're gonna
Yeah,
market to the kids, at least at least make it fun so they're enjoying it. um
definitely. Did
and
you have what kind of toys were you into? I was into like the Hot Wheels and the Green Army Men, but Star Wars was my big thing.
ooh, I loved the Star Wars toys. My I I didn't really have a lot of them, but whenever I visited my uncle, he
Hmm.
was super into Star Wars and he had old Star Wars like action figures that were from his childhood
Hmm.
that he had held on the whole time, and I would play with those for hours. And every once in a while he would he would like buy me one to add to the collection, and I would
That's
keep it
cool.
there with all the other ones, but it's like there was some like newer ones that were like mixed in.
Hmm.
But like it's kind of cool to even think about that. Like he obviously had nostalgia and still does over the Star Wars, and I think that that probably make like that would be like our parents, uncles, whatever. That
Hmm.
like that's kind of one of the big things that I think a lot of that generation would think back to is like being nostalgic about is because that's when the first three came out was right when they were probably college, maybe a little bit younger, depending on
Yeah, I think, yeah, probably like high school, maybe.
high school to college, like early, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I remember my mom saying she worked at a movie theater when she was going to college,
nice.
and they showed the Star Wars movies. I don't know if it was the first one, second one, or a third one that she was talking about, but so yeah, it probably was like somewhere in there. So probably yeah, anywhere from their high school to college
Cool.
era, which is like kind of like prime real estate for nostalgia. Um,
For
I
sure,
guess
yeah.
earlier too, but I mean, you definitely remember stuff from that time in your life, and
Oh, yeah.
um, but yeah. Anyways, not enough about our parents' nostalgia. Um, I feel like I'm trying to think of toys. I know I really liked Transformers.
Nice.
I played with Transformers a lot. Um, I remember one that like would turn into a dinosaur, which for some reason I
Cool.
thought was super cool, and another one would turn into that truck. I think that was Optimus Prime. Um, what other freaking toys? Oh, I know I went through a phase where where I loved like GI Joes. So GI Joes
Yeah.
was definitely a phase. And then I think from there, I'm sure there was plenty of other stuff obviously, but from there I got really obsessed with Legos. I loved Legos. Like that was like my
Yeah.
toy. Like I all I wanted for a long time was Legos. And I just I just would I had like bins, like big like I don't know, I had the worst with size, but big big like plastic bins, just full of them, and I probably had like three or four, and I would just keep all the pieces just randomly in all these bins, and just had to like
Yeah.
search through all of them and leave. And that was another thing my parents would step on and get pissed off about saying. And
Dude, I would step on mine
I,
too, and it would hurt so
I was gonna
bad.
say I would do that too, and I understand why they get pissed about the Legos because the Legos sucked. The Legos are way worse than stepping on the jet or the Green Army Men.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was big on Legos too, and I remember Toys R Us always had the best like Lego section, dude. Oh, it was
Mm-hmm.
so cool. They had like the big logo, the Lego logo,
Yep.
and they would have like the play sets, like the new one that was coming out like on display.
Yes.
Um,
Like in like glass or something, so that you
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
touch it, but it was all built and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That. I remember there was even places where would we have gone that this was a thing, but definitely somewhere somewhere in public that they would have like a table with Legos that you could build with to like entertain your kids while like maybe in like
Oh
a
yeah,
waiting room
yeah.
or something.
Like doctors' offices, maybe.
Yes, that's definitely where it
Yeah.
was. And I
Oh
remember like playing
yeah.
with Lego stuff in like that way too. Like Legos are just
That was the
everywhere.
best. That was the best, dude. Yeah, my so we went I was just back home in Ohio. Um me and my family were cleaning out my grandpa's house because he's passed away recently,
Mm,
and my dad found a bunch of his old Legos in the attic,
really?
and he brought them home and he like washed them off in the sink because they were just so dirty sitting up in the attic for
Yeah, I
like
bet.
20 plus years. Yeah. And that was just really cool to see him. Um, that's the cool thing. I was wanting to do a Lego piece in this collection eventually. Um, but that's the cool thing with this whole concept, the Nostalgia Boulevard concept. Like I could put out a Lego piece and someone my dad's age could see it and feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
um, and it's just, yeah, it's super cool. But yeah, it was cool to see him find his old Legos.
That is awesome. Like, what
Yeah.
did he build anything? Could he like not resist,
Uh,
or did he not really mess around with it too much?
he's probably messing around with them now. I built
Yeah,
like a little spaceship after he cleaned them
nice.
off. We were watching TV, and I made a little, you know, spaceship. But I'm sure he's playing around with them. He loves Legos. What I've been doing for his birthdays over the years, if I'm in a spot where I can afford to break the bank on like a Star Wars Lego set, I'll get him like a TIE fighter or like an X-wing or
Oh,
something,
nice.
and yeah, and he puts it together. So I think I'm gonna have to do a Lego piece now that we're talking.
Heck yeah. I think a Lego piece would be awesome. Um, I think there's obviously so much that you could do with that because they were literally anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they the I, I'm trying to like I'm just thinking about all the different Legos I had, and I remember like it was everything from like outer space to medieval times to like Chinese, or I don't know, Chinese is the right, or Japanese, whatever the samurais were. Like I remember having like a
Mm-hmm.
samurai
Mm-hmm.
set, and like just like all kinds of things in between. Like they really just did everything,
Oh, it
um,
was awesome. Yeah,
and that
so
was so
much.
cool. I remember zoos. Like I had like all kinds of different
Oh
animals
yeah, yeah,
that you could. I don't know if
yeah.
you.
I was looking up Legos the other day, and let me see if I can find it. I don't know what the set was called. Obviously, there was a castle that was really popular. I don't know if you remember the castle, but
Yeah, I do remember at least a castle being really popular and everyone wanting it. I remember I had a I feel like it was probably like a Christmas present, and it was and I don't know, like the castle was probably pretty expensive. I have actually no idea. But
yeah,
my parents had gotten me like an off-brand Legos castle, and I remember like trying to play with it, but just being so like irritated that it wasn't like
yeah.
actually the Legos, because
It's
it
not a
didn't
Lego.
work. It didn't work with like anything else. Like they had like their own little shapes, so like you couldn't connect them to the actual other Legos, and like I was just like, I remember just being so salty as a kid, and it's just like, well, just fucking be happy that they that
Yeah, yeah.
they tried to get you what you wanted, even though it's not exactly. But yeah,
That's
I
hilarious.
do
Yeah,
remember a castle being definitely popular, and
yeah. The castle.
I've always kind of loved ever since. And I wonder if Legos had a part to play in that. I don't know where the love came from, but I've always kind of loved the medieval times. I would go to Renaissance festivals all the time growing up, and
Oh, that's
I
cool.
still go every once in a while, just to just to get some more nostalgia. Really, is probably
Yeah,
why I still go. I don't I don't really like dress up or anything, but maybe I should. Maybe I should just go all out and and
yeah,
get
dude.
all into it and make it a whole
That's
experience.
cool.
But yeah, that's
Do
Renaissance
you
festivals.
remember?
That's a whole nother thing.
Do you remember this one? It was like a set of different, like, I don't know. Looks like they're supposed to be water, like submarine, or like under, like water. This one's called the Aqua Dozer apparently, but I just remember the green.
Oh yes, yeah. I'll
Yeah.
pull it up on screen so people can see it better.
Okay.
The
Cool.
Aqua Dozer.
Aqua Dozer. Yeah, I just remember that the neon green, super vivid
Me
memories.
too. That one
Yeah.
specific. Ooh, this one. Um,
Let me pull
like
it up.
with the eyes too. Um, I remember that. Did the one that you have the little eyes on the little dome?
I
Um,
think it did. Yeah, I'm pulling up your Twitch here to.
oh
I'm
yeah,
getting an ad.
yeah, oh yeah. There'll probably be a little bit of a lag too, and make sure you mute it
It's all good. Yeah, yeah, for sure,
so you don't get distracted.
for sure.
Um, this one too. I remember this one. Oh, where is it gonna bring me? eBay. I remember
I do
this.
remember This is so fun, dude.
Seriously. I didn't know. I mean, obviously, I never really know where the conversation's gonna go with behind the avatar, but I did not actually ever think that we were gonna talk about Legos, but fucking here we are, and I love it. Um, yeah, Legos. They were definitely that's now that we're like talking about it, one of the probably one of my favorite toys growing up would have been Legos. Now that I like really think about it.
For
So
sure.
yeah, I think you definitely got to do a Lego piece.
Definitely.
What
Maybe that'll be in wave three.
wave 3, let's go. So wave well, let me get back here. Wave 1 is already out, and we've looked at Pokemon and the Toys R Us, and we didn't really talk about the Xbox 360. We didn't really talk about the McDonald's one either. But we're just gonna go down the line. So now we're gonna go back to the 360.
Okay.
I gotta know because this was 360 for me brings back like college dorm days. Like
Okay.
that was probably I mean, I was playing Xbox 360 before going to college.
Hmm.
But well, I take that back. We did play a lot of it in high school as well. But for some reason, the first memories that I think of are just in college,
College. Yeah.
especially freshman year. But I mean, all throughout college. But the memories I think of are usually in freshman year, like in the dorms, just a bunch of
Hmm.
just buddies just hanging out playing. We mostly played Modern Warfare, or Call of Duty, whatever it
Nice.
was at that time, or maybe that's the same. I forget how they split it out. I know there's like two different um
Yeah, yeah.
like link.
It's probably Modern Warfare.
Yeah, it was definitely the one that had like Nuketown, and
Oh, okay, Black Ops then.
yeah, and then there was one before it. I remember Black Ops was the one that we were excited that came out, but then I think there was also one before it, but it doesn't really matter. All I know is that I was really big into playing that. Some people played Halo. I sucked at Halo for some reason, but was really good at COD. Um,
Halo was the shit. Yeah.
so I didn't play a whole lot of Halo, but I know there was definitely people who loved it, and I'm assuming you were one of those. I uh, First off, because this popped in my head, have you played the new Halo? Because I haven't.
Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I think I just know a new one came out at some point.
Yeah, yeah. I have played it. It's pretty fun.
Is it?
Honestly, I would load it up and play just by myself to feel nostalgic. To be honest, because I think it feels as much like it feels the most like Halo 3 than any Halo has felt
Uh,
since Halo 3.
yeah.
And I'm not like I wasn't. I've played the Halos through the years, but I'm not like a Halo fanboy. Obviously, in the piece, it has Halo 3 because I was definitely a huge fan of Halo 3 and played a lot. But yeah, so I'll play the new Halo here and there just to feel nostalgic.
Yeah. Yeah. I I remember I booted it up and played it. I think I got it on Steam. Um, think I forget where I played it. Yeah, I think
It's pretty fun.
it was on Steam, and it was
Pretty
pretty
fun.
fun. It definitely, like you're saying, it definitely reminded me of Halo 3, which is probably the only Halo that I remember. Um,
Hmm.
it definitely reminded me of that, especially like the death matches and stuff. And I think maybe they always have had it, but one of the things that I always loved doing was trying to throw sticky grenades at people.
Oh yeah,
And I'm pretty sure
for
they have it
sure.
in the new one. Um,
They do, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that was always super fun. Just toss them across the map,
yeah.
hoping they would. And then every once in a while you did, and you'd have to watch it back in what did they call that?
the
It was you could watch matches back. I forget what it was called, but yeah, that was always super fun trying to throw stickies across the map. Yeah, or going for no scopes with the sniper.
yeah, yeah, that was I remember something though that was big, at least in COD, is the no scope 360. I forget somebody a streamer or something would always do no scope 360s like on his stream, and that was always something that just everyone was trying trying to do. And it was like
Yeah.
where you would spin around in a complete circle and no scope somebody before touching the ground. Like you would, I think you would like jump off of something and do it or whatever. But
Hmm.
fucking, I just remember like you could like watch like montages of that on YouTube and just like holy shit, this guy's insane.
Yeah,
But yeah, no
definitely.
scopes. All the
Yeah.
and like this was not Halo. This is also all my memories are gonna be COD whenever whenever we talk about FPSs. But
Fair.
another one was noob tubing. I think
Oh
it
my
is
gosh,
what we
yeah.
called it, where people would whatever the like grenade launcher attachment was would just launch
Yeah.
grenades in the beginning of
Across, yeah.
across the
Search and
map
destroy.
and yeah
Or
and just
in
demolish
game
the
mode,
whole
I guess.
team
But
at the
yeah.
spawn, or they would catch the spawn in the middle of the game when everyone just got killed and
Hmm.
get like another like whole team killed, just like crazy shit like that.
Oh
um
yeah.
Nukes, I remember always trying to get nukes. I
Yep.
wasn't at the level that I could get them like very much. I probably got like three or four. I can't remember for sure, but I know I got more than two. Uh, and and but my roommate, he was so goddamn good at first person shooters. Like I don't know how much he played when he was growing up, but he would get nukes like I wouldn't say like
Just
once a session, but pretty damn near. Like
damn, yeah.
I don't understand because I think a nuke you had to get 25 kills in a row without getting killed
Yeah.
or something like that.
Hmm.
Like that's pretty damn good.
Super
Like
good. Yeah.
usually I go one for one.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, sometimes I go on a
Yeah,
streak,
dude.
but yeah,
You would have those kids that were just gods at Call of Duty. I was pretty good. I mean, I could do pretty well, but yeah, I was the same. I was never like I can just hop on and get a nuke. It would
yeah.
have to be like I would have to make a point to like really try to get a nuke. But there were some kids, yeah, they just it was like a UAV to them.
Yeah, no
They could
kidding.
just they could just get nukes whenever they wanted. But yeah, Call of Duty was definitely a big one. Halo, Gears of War. I played Gears of War a
Gears of
lot.
War, that was fun. I do remember playing that. Um,
That one was fun. Definitely the bulk of my Xbox 360 memories are Halo 3 and the early Call of Duties, though, like Modern Warfare 2,
yeah,
Black
that's
Ops.
yeah, for sure. That's kind of what comes to mind. I'm trying to like I'm really like kind of blanking on other games, and I don't know what I mean. Guess like Madden, like people.
Yeah, there's
I never played like a lot of Madden, but I would play it here and there whenever people wanted to play me, um, kind of thing. But like I never really like played it like by myself or like
yeah,
intentionally. I got if it was me deciding, I don't think I would pick Madden. But Madden was always big in some of my friend groups, though. Did
2K. FIFA was always
FIFA was
in
also
college.
FIFA was also a
In
popular one. Yeah.
yeah, in college we played a lot of FIFA. That was really fun. I lived on a floor with a bunch of soccer guys that played
Mm,
soccer where I went to college, and so they were always playing FIFA, and I love FIFA too. But that was always super fun playing with those guys. We'd have like 2v2 tournaments too. That was cool.
nice. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I remember doing some stuff like that. I grew up and went to college in Minnesota.
nice.
And so I don't know if this was everywhere, but we definitely were into FIFA, but we were also really into um NHL,
Oh, okay,
the
cool.
hockey
Yeah,
version. And I don't know if that was everywhere, but that was definitely like a northern state. Like we played hockey like since we were like three. So
cool.
we loved hockey, but um, but that was another super fun sports game. Basically, it's FIFA but smaller, and you can hit people. um,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah,
And I played NHL a couple times. It is pretty fun. My buddy played hockey through college, and I played with him a couple times.
nice. But that's a what other do you think of any other games that Well, nope, that was before 360, I think. But one game that popped in my head was did you ever have the Xbox before this that was like the big black thing that was laid sideways and had like a green
The
X across it. So what?
before the
Yeah,
360.
maybe just the original Xbox. I don't know what it was called.
I think it
Was it
maybe was just Xbox,
was
yeah,
that the
but
first
I didn't
one?
have one. I didn't have one. My neighbors had one. My neighbor had one, and we would play his
Yeah,
Xbox. Yeah,
yeah. That
he had a game called Fusion Frenzy, I think. I don't know if
Fusion
you ever
Frenzy.
played. It was like a family sort of game night type thing where you would like
Uh-uh.
pick your character.
I don't
That was
recall.
always fun, but
That does. It sounds like that would be fun.
it
A
was fun.
couple, a couple games that are coming to mind for the original Xbox now are, um, first I was gonna say I remember playing a lot of Quidditch.
Oh, okay.
There was a Harry
That's
Potter Quidditch game, and
hell yeah.
I
That's
played
awesome.
it. It was so fun. Like I remember loving it. I don't know why. Because like I remember going back and playing it and being like, man, this isn't that great. But like at the time, it was probably kind of next level. But yeah, so Quidditch, and then there was, I don't remember the name of it, but I think it was Need for Speed.
Okay.
Sounds correct. Some sort of like racing game that's like more like street racing style stuff, and where you build your car up and paint it and add decals and all that stuff. And I remember really
Oh yeah.
loving that game too. I probably put a lot of hours into that at one point. I don't know if that was 360 or the original Xbox. But yeah, that was one. Did you? Oh, here's another one that I think was 360. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Skyrim. Did you get into that? I know that's like a kind of a left field genre, as far as according to everything else, but that was I
Yeah,
loved
no,
it.
that yeah, I played that a little bit. I never got it on my I never had it on my Xbox, but my one of my friends from school had it, and whenever I was over at his house, we'd play it, and that was a really fun game. I kind of wish that I would have played it on my own, but yeah, that one was cool. And then some other campaign games that were really cool were like I don't know if you ever played Borderlands.
Yes, yep, loved Borderlands.
Borderlands was fun, and then Red Dead Redemption was great too. The
Red Dead
first Red Dead Redemption.
Redemption. See, there were more
Yeah,
there were more games. Red Dead
yeah. I feel like
Redemption.
we were doing all online games, but there's a lot of like
Yeah,
campaign based
yeah,
story games that were really good too. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you remember Crack? GTA obviously was fun
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah. The GTA for sure.
GTA,
That
and
was
then yeah, Crackdown. I remember Crackdown was like one of the games that came with the 360 right when it released. You know how sometimes they'll bundle games together or they'll
yep.
bundle the game in the
I'm
system? Yeah.
I don't remember Crackdown, but I remember the game that I got for free was, I don't remember the name of it now. They just made a series about it. It's about a zombie apocalypse, and it's
Oh, The Last of Us?
yeah. I'm pretty sure that was a game that was included with the Xbox that I bought at one point. It might have been the second Xbox I bought. I have no idea. But I remember playing through that, and that game was actually really fun. Um,
It's amazing.
which
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
played that one.
I was gonna say is probably why there's being like shows made of it now and stuff.
Yeah, that game was amazing. That game was amazing too. Did you play Nintendo 64? We can like segue to.
Ooh, yes, we can segue to Nintendo 64. I did a lot of N64 gaming. Which is this piece here, right? Yes. Um, what was I think a big part of my N64 was all kinds of different Mario stuff. Um,
Hmm.
I really loved the, I can't remember, it might have been like Mario 64 or something, but it was the one where you would go and you would jump into the picture, to go
Yes.
into the different worlds.
Yes.
Uh, I don't know
Yeah.
what name, if it was in the Mario 64 or which one it was, but that one was probably the one that I remember the most, and I loved that one. Um,
Oh yeah.
there was because there was like so many different like worlds to explore or whatever, and yeah, I remember that one being fun. You have Star
Oh,
Wars.
that one was great. Yeah, I got Star Wars Rogue Squadron in there. That's one that I played a lot. I played Mario too. Mario was definitely, I think it was Mario 64 or maybe Super Mario. But
Super Mario was Nintendo,
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
like original.
Yeah, I played Rogue Squadron a lot. That's why I kind of snuck that one in there. Yeah. Did you ever play?
I am trying to remember. I know I played at least some Star Wars game, but I honestly, and I don't think I played a lot of it, but I'm not sure if it was this one, Rogue Scott. What style of game would it have been? Because I remember being a Jedi. There was a game
Okay.
that you were a Jedi, but I don't, and it could also not be N64. Um, so
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think so. Rogue Squadron was just you. It was like you would fly around in the different Star Wars ships and do missions. So like the X-wing, the
Oh
Y-wing, the
yes,
A-wing.
I do remember
Yeah,
using. So you, yeah, okay. So you were like you were flying the ships more so than
yeah, you would
anything
just
in
fly
the
the
game.
ships. Yeah,
Yep, yep,
but
yep.
yeah, it was. There was
Star
different missions. Yeah, I
Fox.
think
Sorry.
you're good. I think you started with an X-wing and then like you progressed through the different ships. But that one was incredible.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
put it in the
yeah.
piece there.
Made its debut. Um, did it? Did you ever play? I shouted it at you. Star Fox. Um, I think it was called Star
I,
Fox. Does that ring a bell?
I It does sound familiar. I think I played it a few times, but I don't think it's one that I was like really that I got into. Did you play it?
Yes. It was so the game. I think it was maybe that's why I didn't play a whole lot of the Star Wars one. It was probably very similar because you were flying a spaceship and you were part of like a team of like four or five different characters and you were doing all these missions with basically Star Wars style spaceships. Um, so very similar game. Who knows? They could have used the same goddamn game and just reskinned it. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's cool though.
but yeah, that one was super fun. I do really I remember just loving being able to fly around. That was cool. Played a lot of well yeah, Pokemon, the Pokemon Arena, I think.
Okay, yeah, that one's familiar.
I played that and Pokemon the one where you took pictures. You ever play that one?
That sounds familiar.
Snap, Pokemon Snap, maybe, or
Maybe, yeah.
Pokemon. I don't know. But like you literally like your role in the game was taking photos of the different Pokemon and trying to like and like your photos would get graded based off of like how good the photo was as far as like
Yeah.
if the whole Pokemon was in it and if they were like centered
Uh-huh.
or anything. Um,
I do remember that now that you mentioned that.
I
I do
remember
remember that.
hell yeah. That one had like a whole lot of secret stuff that you could do. Like if you knew what to do, you could get different Pokemon to appear by maybe like throwing something at a different Pokemon that would scare that Pokemon and then they would make the other Pokemon appear or whatever or like go into
I
like
gotcha.
secret little areas and stuff. I remember we loved
That's
that.
cool.
There's like three or four of us that just would sit in the basement and just play Pokemon,
Play, yeah.
whatever it was.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
is that kind of? I would imagine that's probably how most people's gaming vibes, whereas just somewhere in either someone's basement or your own basement, and just sitting on the couch,
Yeah.
just playing
Going at it.
on the big screen, which was
Yep.
not even really that big nowadays compared to compared to what we have in our at least
Yeah.
most places you go. Screens have gotten enormous.
It's nuts. Yeah.
Like thinking about it, like um, I'm trying to think of what size it would have even been that like I feel like the average TV was, but it was probably like half the size of of what
Yeah.
because now it's like people have like 72 inches and
It's
and
crazy. Yeah. We just
60
had a
and
box TV. We just had like,
yeah,
one of those box TVs.
yeah, the big ass things. I remember one of our one of our TVs was so heavy and it was so big. It was it was like maybe not 60, but like it was approaching that like size of a screen. So it was like probably one of the biggest screens I'd seen at that at that time in my
Yeah.
life. But it was like one of the ones that was like a box and the base was like I don't know, fucking a entertainment center where you'd put like your
Yeah.
DVD player and stuff and but it was all one piece and I just like
Dude, those
moving
things were so heavy.
yeah and we moved a couple times as a kid and
Hmm.
I just remember like that thing specifically just hating to have to help move because it was
Oh, yeah.
so it was so heavy and awkward. Oh man.
Yeah.
What so other than the, other than the Star Wars one, what other games do you remember from N64?
All the Mario stuff, Mario Kart, um, Star Wars. I think was Crash Bandicoot
I think that was
on
PlayStation.
there. I think that was
I think that was
PlayStation 2. Yeah.
PlayStation. Banjo Kazooie just popped in my head. Did you ever play Banjo Kazooie? Do you even know what that is?
I don't. Maybe.
it was
Maybe.
it was one with a bear and
Hmm.
in his backpack was a bird.
That
it,
that sounds
does that
familiar.
sound familiar? And
It does.
you could
Yeah.
like use the bird to do certain things like you could like flip over and run on the little bird's legs and it would like flap its wings when you were falling kind of thing. Uh and it was
Oh,
just
that sounds.
like a like kind of like a
What was it
Mario
called?
Banjo Kazooie like B A N I gotta pull it up now. BANJO Kazooie. I don't even know. Banjo
I think I do remember this. Yeah.
Kazooie.
I do remember this. Yeah. Oh, I would play Donkey Kong too, and then I would also play
Donkey Kong was a good
um,
one.
GoldenEye 007.
Oh yeah, GoldenEye was in 64. Perfect Dark, that was another shooter um for
I think I also
N64, I
played.
remember.
I think there was a Kirby game.
Kirby probably, yeah. Do you remember the witch from Banjo-Kazooie? Is that
I don't.
this picture is like what like all these characters that I'm looking at on screen this is the game that I remember. I played a lot of it. I don't know. Somehow it was definitely one that I remember friends coming over and being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like I've never seen this game. But everyone always loved it once we started playing it. It was kind of like a
Oh,
Zelda.
the Witch. Yeah. Oh, Zelda. Zelda's another one.
Zelda is definitely another one that we
Yeah.
didn't mention, but yeah. Um, I
So
think
many memories, man.
yeah, there's seriously like it's crazy what pops up and that's what I'm saying is super cool about this series that you're doing is that like it it gives us the opportunity to think and remember different things just based off of like each individual person that looks at your art as long as like they spend a little bit of time looking at it will probably think of something different just based off of one image that they see, and I think that's
For
pretty cool.
sure. Thank you,
Whenever,
man. Yeah.
yeah, whenever you're creating art, what's your is approach the right word? Like, how do you start?
Approach, process.
Yeah, like I think I've always been curious about that. Is like, how do you start as an artist? Like, it all starts with a blank page, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Usually, like, usually I'll have some sort of concept. I have like a note and a note in my on my phone where I'll write down phrases, or I'll write down like a title that I think could be cool, or just a concept. But usually I start with a concept of some kind,
Hmm.
and then I'll sit down and try to visualize it. Other times I'll just go, and whatever happens happens. Like um, a few pieces I've done recently that I don't have listed or anything. Um, I just kind of started and just wanted to see where it would go.
Uh-huh.
But usually I start with some kind of concept, and I try to, you know, stick to that concept.
Yeah.
A lot of my pieces, have to do with like mental health and things like that. So if I had a bad day or something, I'll just try to, express how I was feeling through art. Or if I had a good day, sometimes I'll do that too. But I like to listen to music when I create. Listen to Mac Miller a lot,
Mm.
like his older stuff that he released right before he passed. I really liked. I think the album's called Swimming, but I don't know,
Swimming.
something
Yeah.
about Mac really gets me in a creative zone. But
Dude, Mac
yeah, go
Mac
ahead.
should be, in my opinion, Mac. Maybe there could be a bunch of different artists that somehow you mash together, but Mac is
That'd be cool. Yeah,
definitely one that comes to mind as far as like music goes that I I really loved. Um, it just
for sure,
his music spoke to me, and I think it spoke to a lot of people, which is why he was so goddamn successful. And it's so sad that he ended up passing away, but because he was just getting started, it seemed like.
for sure. Yeah,
Um,
he was.
and
Yeah,
I think like that situation is is such like a good thing that people can learn from, that like even if you are doing really well, you can still struggle with mental health, um and just like you can end up in a bad place no matter what life has given you. So um
definitely. Yeah,
it is always important to be taking care of your mentals, because
for sure.
if they get
Yeah,
out of hand, it's hard to reel it back in sometimes.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I like to. That's kind of why I like to incorporate that stuff in a lot of my pieces. I mean, a lot of artists say this, and it's true. Art is a form of therapy, for myself and a bunch of other people. Um, and yeah, it's what make like depression, anxiety, all those things, um, are what make us human beings at the end of the day. And I think that there used to be kind of a stigma behind it. Nowadays we're kind of better at talking about it. Um, so I think
Yeah.
that's good. But I like to make that kind of a focal point in a lot of my pieces, because I think that it should honestly be not, when I say celebrated, I don't mean in, like glorified or anything, but celebrated in the sense that we all go through those things, and it makes us human beings. Um, Sort of shared life experiences and traumas, are something that we can all relate to and connect with. But and too, hopefully, people can see certain things in my art, and it moves them in a way that they, relate to or understand. Obviously with like the nostalgia that we're talking about, we just talked for an hour or so about
Yeah.
memories. But even my other pieces too, if it's something to do with maybe feeling alone or something like that, that my hope would be that someone could see that, and it touches them, or they relate to it in some way.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome, and I think you do a good job of that, because I I liked you gave me this advice too. I wasn't really doing this piece of it, but I like the I've found that I really do enjoy looking at art, and just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like spending more time on it than I ever would in the past, and just taking it in and seeing where my mind goes, and not really thinking about anything specific, but just kind of seeing what comes up, uh, and it's almost like meditating on the piece of art in a way,
Yeah.
now that I like think about it or like say it out loud. Um and now also doing that with like music on in the background, it it just like, I don't know, it's cool how art can evoke different emotions and different feelings, and just bring up different memories just based off of a picture. um,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
and I think it's cool too that like it obviously like comes from the energy or the um I don't know, the place that you were at when you were creating that, like that it bleeds through and goes into everyone else's minds whenever they see that piece. And it's just cool that like the transmission of information through pictures, is
Yeah.
it's an interesting one. And I think it's awesome that it's possible. And I think it's also awesome that you focus on mental health in a way, because like you said, it is starting to be something that's talked about more, but for the longest time it definitely was something that was just kind of like pushed to the side. And no one, I don't know if we felt, if it was like a feeling of ashamed, or I don't know, but it definitely seemed like when probably whenever we were growing up, that like
Mm-hmm.
no one really talked about their emotions. They just they
For
just
sure. Yeah.
bottled it all up. um
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a healthy way to deal with anything. um so instead, go look at 500 art and and have a therapy session
Yeah.
with yourself. um
Yeah.
for the future, actually,
Mm-hmm.
before we go to the future, for the past, what all is there out there for people to check out, as far as your art goes? Where I guess maybe where's the best place for people to go? I know like the Nostalgia Boulevards on Foundation. um is there other places that people should go? I know you have an open sea, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If anyone, wants to look at all my stuff, a good place to do that is if you just go to my Twitter. In my bio, I have a link tree, and you can just kind of choose. I have listed there like, Foundation, OpenSea, and those are my main collections right now. Those are the platforms that I'm on. Um, and on OpenSea, I have a few different collections, and you can go through and look at my older pieces that I have, um, from like the very beginning days of my NFT journey, which I think it's really cool to look through any artist's work. But I think it's cool to look through mine as well, just because I made it and see how I've grown, over the past year or 2 years. And, you can tell that my voice has remained sort of constant, but I'm just figuring things out, and getting a little bit better at expressing myself, artistically, finding my artistic voice a little bit better. But yeah, you can find my stuff on my Twitter and my link tree. But I got stuff on OpenSea and Foundation, and
Nice.
hopefully super rare someday. But they're a little,
I
they
don't
can be a little,
I don't
you know.
understand like what, I don't know. I guess I don't understand the difference of the different places. Like what is found it? All I know is that it's hard to get on super rare or something. But like what like what's the difference between having your stuff just I mean on OpenSea basically, but not specifically OpenSea, just anywhere that really that can look you up. And then having stuff on Foundation and then having stuff on super rare. Like what are the different platforms for?
Yeah, so the ones that I'm familiar with are OpenSea Foundation, Super Rare. There's obviously other ones like Known Origin is one, Maker's Place is one. Um, I'm going to draw a blank, but
Yeah.
there's definitely a good list to choose from. But from my experience, I've only worked on Foundation and OpenSea. But the difference would just be like, obviously on, OpenSea right now, there's zero royalties. So that's a big difference. So like if someone sells my piece on the secondary, I'm not going to get any royalties, which I would have beforehand. That's my old collection.
Mm.
That's like the first stuff I started to release. But so the storefront contracts are going to be different. I'm not entirely sure. Like I can't list off the top of my head what each contract has in it, but I know with OpenSea, it's going to be different, than it is from Foundation. And one thing I should mention is that I think every artist should mint through Manifold, their own smart contract. What that does is it gets rid of the fine print, I guess, that you have on places like OpenSea, where the ownership might not be as beneficial. It might not be as good as when you mint through Manifold.
Yeah, and
But
I've heard a lot of good things about Manifold. I think it definitely is something that if you if you are an artist, it, it's I haven't gone through the entire process, but I have fiddled around with it, and I know you figured it out. Not
mhm.
saying that not saying that means anyone can figure it
If I
out,
can do
but
it, anyone can. No,
it definitely makes sense to use something like a manifold that'll give you your own contract instead of doing it under something else, just because at the end of the day you want it to be your own and be able to do whatever you want with it down the road. So just do that. Manifold
for sure.
and
Yeah,
i I would imagine, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that you can go to YouTube or something and YouTube how to do something on Manifold, and there's probably videos on it, to help you through. Uh, it, but
for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of good videos on YouTube for that. But yeah, it's super easy to use. It's really easy, and they really have the artist, in their mind. It's built for artists, and I think what they've done in this space is probably some of the most important work that's been done in the entire Web3 space.
yeah,
I think it's what they've done is incredible, and what I'm sure they'll continue to do.
yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, somebody else probably would have done it. Like, I can't imagine there not being a manifold out there, because like it just it makes sense that it needed to happen. And I know that
For
there's
sure.
there since manifold, like there's been plenty of other things that have come out that allow you to do similar things. Sometimes they're more geared towards the profile picture thing or this or that. But it definitely, I mean, it's just important to be able to, I, I think, give the most ease of access to creating things on the blockchain without having to be as tech savvy as knowing how to write your own smart contract. Because everyone should be able to kind of do their own thing and not be under somebody else's umbrella, which is the whole idea of Web3, is kind of being on your own. So um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a great thing to bring up, and something that I still haven't dove super far into, but I also haven't had a need,
Yeah.
because I think for artists specifically, if you're listening, watching, catching the replay, whatever you're doing, check out Manifold, because it'll treat you right, and it'll do
Definitely.
everything you need it to do, from an artist standpoint. I think there's quite a few different features, huh? Like you can do a few
Yeah.
different things now. I haven't even kept up with what all those
Yeah.
different
It's
things
really
are.
cool. It's really cool how they've grown. Yeah. So you can mint. you can create a contract for what 1155 tokens,
Mm-hmm.
which is addition, and then you can create a contract for what is it
721s
17
or what?
or yeah 7 yeah whatever it is. Sometimes I get the numbers mixed up,
Seven
but
721 ERC 721 is
yeah,
like a anything, a one on one, like a board ape or your art that is one of ones
right.
would be
Yeah,
721s.
so yeah, 721s is focused, on one of ones, but then you can do additions with 1155 tokens.
Yep.
And it's just so now they have like you can do a bidders edition, which I did a bidders edition, and you can do it right through Manifold. So bidders edition is like, I put a one of one up for auction. Say you bid on the piece, but you don't end up winning, you'd still get an airdropped additions piece as like a thank you for participating in the auction. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it's a really cool way to get like people involved and to show appreciation for someone other than the person who ends up winning the auction.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an awesome way to. I've not heard of this, so I'm glad you brought that up because
yeah, it's
that
really
is an
cool.
awesome way to um do like a one of one, but also give to people that were that were interested in having that one of one. Like even though you lost, here's something else, and
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's
You
like
kind of
a
get
additions piece baked into a one on one kind of thing. Um,
exactly, yeah. So you can do that with Manifold. Now you can do open editions through Manifold, which obviously open editions were like the meta for a while
for a
there.
week,
Uh, yeah, I did. I
maybe
think I've
longer.
done two open editions. Yeah, uh, yeah, those blew up for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, open editions are really cool. You can just mint, or drop a piece of art and basically you leave the mint window open for like an hour or a day, and however many pieces get minted is however many pieces will exist. So I could drop a piece and I could leave it open for the claim open for an hour, and if 22 people buy it, then 22 of those tokens will exist, or if 22,000 people buy it, then 22,000 of that token will exist.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. Yeah, Manifold's awesome, dude. They just keep doing amazing things, and I'm super thankful for them.
Yeah.
I definitely attribute like some of my success as an artist to Manifold, and I think a lot of artists would probably agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, it allows you guys to kind of set yourself apart and be your own independent artist. Um,
Absolutely.
and that's important and it's cool. And I know I don't know him personally, but I know the main guy. I forget. I think it's Richard.
Richard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy behind it. Like he's just super smart. Like he just knows how to write smart contracts and other stuff. But like so like he's just figuring out super cool, and I'm sure he has a team now, but like he just
Mm-hmm.
I believe he maybe he had a team the whole time, but I'm pretty sure he was like the main one that worked on the original um iteration of Manifold whenever it first came out. Um I would imagine he has a team now. But
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, it's wild to even think about like it's not necessarily nostalgia at this point, but it's just wild to think about even just some of the things that have happened over this short period of Web3 NFT, um, whatever you want to call this era,
For sure, yeah. A
era.
lot of things.
Yeah, like Manifold, like that's just another one that just like popped on my radar now that you've we've kind of been able to see start out and to see where they've gotten. Like it's cool. Um, I like this. I like the success stories. There's obviously plenty of other stories out there that that can also be um, thought of whenever you look back on everything that's happened. But
Yeah.
it's just it's been a lot of everything, and but I think the cool thing to always remember and focus on is that there is a lot of cool good stuff happening in this space, and it's only going to get better. um I hopefully it doesn't get worse. But there's definitely a potential for it to get better, which I'm optimistic. I'm always kind of optimistic and naively
Yeah.
optimistic maybe. But
No, I think, yeah, I think we're headed in a good direction. I think there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road, and especially with, a lot of the people that we give platforms and label as leaders, you got to be careful, like influencers and stuff. I think
yes,
that it was a necessary thing to happen because it helps the space mature and stuff. But definitely through that first wave of like the first bull run, there was a lot of people that got exposed for doing a lot of shady shit.
mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something that the space is always going to have to work on because I mean, still today, like influencers have huge platforms, and I don't think they should be like deplatformed or anything like that. But you just got to be mindful of who you follow and who you want to pay attention to.
Right,
Um, but I
yeah.
think that there's a lot of stuff that happens like on the surface of the NFT world that gets bad publicity, like rug pulls, scams, things like that. But honestly, I think at the heart of Web3, there's a lot of good stuff going on, and there's a lot of good people that are moving the space forward in ways that is needed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the at this point and anytime into the foreseeable future, there's going to be influencers. And we as a culture, as a society, um, need to understand that and understand that some people don't have good intentions. They only have intentions of making money. And
Yep.
you need to get better. Everyone needs to get better at identifying when some that is the motive behind an influencer and when they are genuinely just recommending things that they truly do enjoy, believe in, etc., etc. And I think that's just we're just we're really early on in having having anyone be able to have a platform to be an influencer. There's always been influencers, like the news has been an influencer for a long time, and anyone that's
Yeah.
a part of like news programs, and stuff like that. But like now, we're so early on with basically anyone being able to, if you're successful at it, become influential. And and that's something that we're still just learning as a society, is how to weed that out or identify it. And I think we'll get better over time, and it'll be harder and harder for people to be little dork weasel peoples and and do stupid
Yeah.
stuff. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's always gonna be there, and I think you just always you just have to know that as a consumer and be aware and make your best judgment. And sometimes you're gonna not make the right judgment or not think about it, and just trust somebody's some tweet you saw, and
Yeah.
and just go with it, and you make a mistake, and that's okay. You all do that,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think overall there's a lot of good in the space as well, and that's what I'm optimistic about. Um, we'll see where everything goes, but um, where as far as like the future goes, you obviously have Nostalgia Boulevard. Um, is there anything else that you're really focused on right now, or is it pretty much just Nostalgia Boulevard?
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah.
in terms of like pieces that I'm making. I got a lot of art that I'm sitting on. I have some art available right now that has been sitting for a little bit. There's the three one of ones actually on Foundation. But as for anything concrete, I guess just the Nostalgia Boulevard collection. I'm going to continue to curate and continue to, update that. But it's always going to evolve. There's going to be more collections that I have, that pop up. I got a lot of ideas and um, yeah, just going to continue to put my head down, keep making art, and let the rest come to
Yeah.
me naturally, and yeah, figure it out as I go. But I would love to do a show someday,
Like a
you know,
exhibit
like yeah, an
or
exhibit. Do like a
yeah,
solo show or
yeah.
something. I mean, that would be a little difficult. You got to get in with the galleries and stuff, unless you want to try to do it on your own, which would be difficult. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna keep creating and keep growing as an artist.
That's awesome. I can't wait to continue to watch where you go and everything that everything that is to come. I'm just super excited to continue to see all the different nostalgia pieces that come out. For those of you that missed it earlier on, you can catch the second wave of Nostalgia Boulevard, which will be dropping on Friday. Yes, Friday.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That'll be on Foundation. Go to 500 Arts on Twitter and go to that link tree and you'll be able to find it. And obviously follow them and make sure that you're paying attention. Maybe turn that bell notification on so you don't miss the announcement on Friday. It the drops are they all gonna be, or I guess maybe we should never say all, but is this next drop at least gonna be the same format where it is a whatever it's called, auction?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna drop the second wave, and I'll probably, put the reserve at around, point one, which is what I set the reserves at for the first wave.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely, pricing is always hard as an artist, but like I've thought since the first wave has done so well, maybe I up the reserve price by a little bit. But I think for at least the second one, I'm going to keep it at around point one or point. I think I set it at point 11. But we'll see. We'll see in the future what that looks like. But yeah, they'll all be available via auction.
Heck yeah, yeah. I feel like that's something that I'm sure everyone struggles with that has any sort of creation that they're putting out to the public to allow to buy is price and coming up with a number and trying to decide what it's worth. And uh,
Yeah,
what what do you struggle? I don't know if struggle. Hopefully, that's not the the default that you go to with pricing. But what around pricing? Like, how do you kind of work through that and decide what to charge for something? Like, I'd be curious, especially like just I mean, one of ones and editions are going to be different, obviously, yeah. But one of one specifically, I feel like they're kind of priceless in a way. Um, like
yeah,
I don't know, like how do you think about that?
yes. It's definitely really hard because you know I I'm like confident in myself, and I value my art relatively high. So I mean, it would be awesome, and I do think that my stuff is worth. It's worthy of like huge sales. I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
list pieces for like 10 ETH or something, and it sells right away. But I just I got to think realistically, and I just don't think I'm there yet. I think that someday I will be, but I don't want to have my pieces sit forever and not sell. So I try to stay realistic and understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I've sold work for it's ranged. It's been interesting. I've My all-time high is 1 ETH, which was awesome. I think that I can break that whenever. I think that I'm ready to break that. But um, yeah, it's definitely really hard. But you try to keep your collectors in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sort of try to respect them the best I can. I don't want to disrespect them in whatever way, I guess that would be. You don't want to try, like, I don't want to start releasing one of ones for point oh 0.02 ETH, because then it's a little disrespectful to my collectors who have supported me for higher prices over the years.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, man, I don't think there's, at least for me right now, there's not really an answer to pricing. It's definitely difficult. And I mean, I've had pieces that I've listed for, multiple ETH, and because I think that that's what they're worth, and then they don't really sell. And then so I drop the price a little bit and then it sells, you know? And so, um, who knows what, someday hopefully my stuff will be going for a lot. But
Yeah.
right now, I kind of just feel it out. Like with this collection, I wanted it to be accessible to a lot of people, because I want a lot of people to be able to enjoy the nostalgia and the memories, kind of like we just did.
Hmm.
I want a lot of collectors to have the opportunity to collect those pieces. So that's why those are priced a little bit lower. Um,
Yeah, I
but yeah, you arrive at prices differently. You kind of just think of it, and a number sometimes comes to you, and that's kind of how I go about it.
yeah, no, I feel that. Like that's uh, obviously there's two, well, there's probably more than two ways, but there's like two ways to to arrive at a number, and one of them is just following your intuition, and the other one is thinking about all the maths. Um and all that stuff. And I know there's people that do that side of things, but I'm definitely more of a just follow the intuition. And
Yeah.
and obviously, like you said, take into consideration your previous collectors as well as um future collectors and where they're at. And I feel like it's probably kind of tough to find a balance, because um I I'm not saying that, like, for example, 0.11 that these last ones started at, I'm not saying that that is expensive, um, but it's also not affordable for everyone, which doesn't need to be the case. Like, you obviously you don't need to be affordable for everyone, but I feel like it would be tough. It's tough whenever, especially like when you're starting out, to get buy-in uh, and attention from people that really like your stuff, um if they can't justify like spending it on it. So I just
Hmm.
I feel for you. I feel like it would be tough to decide because
Yeah, it's hard.
I know for sure, like 100% you believe, and I believe too that your pieces should be costing people more than what they're paying to get them. Um, and one day the prices will reflect that. So it's just it's interesting. Like I haven't
That's
I haven't
just
really thought very deep about pricing until just now. So
Yeah, it's hard. It's just it's a journey, and one day my pieces will sell for higher amounts for sure. Um, it's just tough. Yeah, you kind of just, especially for someone like me who my income basically, pretty much all my income comes from art sales. And so, of course, I would love to list a piece for 20 ETH and it sell right away. But like I said, I'm just not to that point yet. But I'm going to continue to grow and get to the point where, there's going to be crazy demand for my stuff and people are going to be willing to pay luxury, you know. But for right now, I'm just continuing to grow and I'm still relatively, I've been I've only been creating art like every day for the past 2 years. So I am relatively still new to this, especially new to actually selling art and making a living that way.
hmm.
And so, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and you grow and you learn. And right now, you can get a one of one from me for point one, in this Nostalgia Boulevard collection, but that might not be the case a year from now or 2 years from now, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it will be. I I don't I don't think I can see the future, but I feel like this Nostalgia Boulevard thing is, or at least has the potential to be a big tipping point in your career. And
Thanks, man.
I
Yeah.
mean that's what I see it as, because don't get me wrong, all of your art I have really vibed with, but like for whatever reason, and I think it is just the nostalgia piece, like seeing these pieces really, like, one, caught my attention, like, and I think
Hmm.
that's obviously important, especially from like a marketing standpoint of
Yeah, yeah.
getting people to notice, is it needs to catch your attention. And two, as soon as it caught my attention, it then got me thinking about it and the things that I started thinking about or having memories
Hmm.
of, and so then it got me to linger on it for a little bit. So
That's awesome.
and I think that's what it's probably doing with a lot of people. Like, I mean, the people that bought the first wave, and I don't know if any of those guys are um, previous holders of any of your stuff, but
All
all
new
new.
collectors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
they who knows how long they'd been seeing your stuff, but obviously this style did something for them to get them
Yeah, definitely.
to buy in. So I think that's awesome, and it's good news, and I mean, there's no telling what future lies, but I got good feelings for you. So I'm excited to
Thanks,
see
dude.
where everything goes, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited for this collection as well, and I have a good feeling about it as well. We'll see. We'll see where it goes, but
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I got a good feeling about it, and it's awesome to hear that people like yourself and obviously the collectors and stuff um, enjoy it. And like I said, at the end of the day, the goal was to help people access fond memories and feel nostalgic, and I wanted it to be different in that way. Um, like all my other stuff is maybe dealing with a little bit heavier subject matters, like mental
Hmm.
health related things like we talked about. And so I wanted to release something that's a little bit more quote unquote fun or,
Or
um,
lighthearted, maybe. I don't know if
yeah,
that's
lighthearted, just, yeah, that allows you to just look at it and think about when you were a kid or think about, when you were in college or whatever it is. And nostalgia is a powerful drug.
yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people, you know, enjoy feeling nostalgic, and I'm just thankful that people are liking the collection.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, that's all you can really ask for as an artist, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, I think we're probably it's crazy. I can't believe it's already been 2 hours. Um,
Yeah, we've been going for a while, huh?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's how it goes. I feel like I I started out by just doing like hour shows, and then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna allocate like 2 hours, and 2 hours is good, but it starts to it starts to feel like I could
Yeah.
even well, it's weird because it's definitely enough time. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it feels like it's not enough time, but it also feels like oh man, like
A long
I've
time.
yeah, like I've been talking to
Yeah.
for for 2 hours,
I've
like
been I've been holding in a pee for like
yeah, and like
45
haven't yeah,
minutes.
yeah, exactly. Like I feel like 2 hours is maybe not the sweet spot, but it's almost like the
It's a
point
good time.
the
No, it's a
point where
good
it's like
time.
okay, like it's about time to wrap up. So
Yeah.
I think long story short, I think that this has been a great conversation, and I look forward to our next conversation because I know I'll have you back on the show again. Before we let you go take a pee, and before we close down the show, if you want to just remind everyone where they can find you, I believe
Yeah.
Twitter is probably the best, but yeah, the stage is yours, and then we will say goodbye.
Cool. Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, dude.
Oh
This
yeah,
was really enjoyable. It was nice to just sit down and shoot the shit about what we talked about.
yeah.
I think we covered a lot of good stuff from lightheartedness to you know touching on mental health related things too. So I think this is super dope that you're doing this. I mean, we talked a lot about starting a podcast. I think in the
Yeah.
early days, and so it's really cool that you're doing it, man. I admire you and salute you for doing it. But yeah, I mean, you can just find me for anyone listening that wants to follow along. They can find me on Twitter at 500 Arts, and then also Instagram, which I'm trying to use more, is also 500 Arts. But yeah, those two places are going to be the main spot to find me and keep up with my stuff. And
Heck,
in my bio on both of those platforms, I have a link tree which you can find all my stuff.
nice, nice. Yeah, Linktree's are the way to go. Especially, I feel like we all have like so many different things that people maybe will want to check out instead of just having the one
For
link.
sure.
Um, and for everyone that's listening, and I feel like maybe I just don't listen very good, but it's 500 arts, ARTS. Just just in case
Yeah,
you misheard him or you didn't know what he said,
it's
because
not farts.
it's not farts.
Yeah,
Uh,
500 arts. Yeah,
yes, yeah. So perfect. So make sure you go follow him. Show some love. Show up for the second wave of Nostalgia Boulevard, which is dropping on Friday sometime. Stay tuned. Set your
Friday
notification.
at 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
EST.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
PST.
EST.
Perfect.
EST. EST.
EST.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
feel like I have no idea what's going on. Don't worry, me neither.
Friday, sometime Friday.
Friday, pay attention Friday. And see if something moves you enough to pick up a new piece from a dope ass artist. Because I can't say enough good things about you as a person and as an artist. So thanks
Thank you,
again.
man.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on and hanging. It's been fun, and like I said, we will definitely have to have you back on the show again. But
Absolutely.
for tonight, this is the end. So thank you guys for tuning in. If anyone's still hanging out in the chat, I'm sure you guys are just listening per usual. Appreciate you guys for being here. And we are gonna pop up the loading screen and I will send on a raid over to somebody. But thank you guys again so much for being here. Thank you 500 for showing up and hanging.
Of course.
And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.